Welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends. Today I'm going to be looking deep into Nell Blackteeth, specifically building out her masteries, but first I want to talk about why I'm going to build them the way that I am. I specifically want to build out Nell to be an arena-based champion. She's an S-tier champion in my opinion, at least inside of the arena, if you can build her properly, and a lot of that has to do with her getting the proper relic that you can equip after you get Faction Wars hard completed, which I have not particularly yet done on my account, which is why I'm not in a rush to put her together. But I do want to get her prepared and build out these masteries since I have all the points to do so. So I'm going to be doing that inside of this video today. And by the way, guys, if you've never played Raid, I have a QR code and a link in the description. Gets you the game absolutely for free. And, well, it supports my channel. So thanks, guys. So let's take a look at her kit to start, specifically in her main primary form. Because, again, we're talking about a mythical champion with dual forms. Where we're going to be building out today is actually in that main form. Her skill 1 attacks one enemy, steals 10% of the target's turn meter, steals an additional 5% turn meter for each debuff on that enemy. Also has a 75% chance of placing a true fear debuff for one turn, and you can ignore resistance plus 15% after you skill her up. But the A2 is where things get spicy. Steals all buffs from all enemies. That alone, I love. Decreases each target's turn meter by 10%, decreases each target's turn meter by an additional 5% for each debuff on them, and also instantly activates all poison debuffs on all enemies. That's the huge one right there, specifically with the relic that we were talking about. Then places a sheep debuff for one turn on all enemies without poison debuffs. So literally, anyone that's not poisoned, well, you get to turn into a sheep. That's on a 4-turn cooldown, which could be knocked down to a 3-turn. Absolutely love that skill. The A3 Sickle of Corruption attacks all enemies, places a 60% decreased defense debuff and a 25% weakened debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Fills the turn meters of all allies by 20%. And again, we can get this down to a 3-turn cooldown, and then we could obviously transform her, but the passive, whenever an enemy receives a buff, is healed, or has their turn meter increased by a skill, places a 5% poison debuff on that enemy for 2 turns. Will ignore block debuffs. Increases this champion's turn meter by 5% for each poison debuff placed by this skill. As I mentioned, we're really focusing on the poison element of her when we're building her out for the live arena, but let's still take a look at her alternative form. Over here, it's a little bit different. Belly Slash attacks one enemy 4 times. Each hit will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Each hit will also decrease the target's max HP by 25% of the damage inflicted. If the target is not a boss, also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% of the target's max HP. Not bad. A2, Cut 'em Up. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Deals 100% more damage to enemies under stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, true fear, or petrification. If the target is killed, instantly activates the Forest of Terror skill. This also just gets bumped up with damage. Now, here's the Forest of Terror skill. Attacks all enemies. Places true fear debuff for 2 turns. The debuff can't be resisted or blocked by enemies with 50% HP or less. Alright? And our passive here, whenever the champion kills an enemy using an active skill, grants this champion an extra turn. Each debuff placed by the champion is in either form increases the champion's HP, attack, and defense by 2%, which stacks up to 50, and speed by 2, which stacks up to 50 in their alternative form. I mean, this is an absolutely insane champion for the arena, and I really want to push my Faction Wars to get to hard. We are so close, so that I can start utilizing her, because no one is ready for her inside of the arena. But we're here to build out PvP masteries, focusing on the first form, without her phasing over to her form number 2. So we're going to be focusing on the defense and the support trees. First off, we're going to go right here, add resistance for defense. Next, we're going to come on over and we're going to go with rejuvenation, increases the amount of healing and the value of shield receives by 5%. And we're going to come here and go with improved parry, decreases the damage received by this champion by 8% when the champion is hit with a critical hit. Let's go down to Resurgent in the next tier. Has a 50% chance to remove one random debuff from the champion when they lose 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy skill. And I want to go with Shadow Heal. Heals the champion by 6% of their max HP each time an enemy is healed. Occurs once per turn. We're going to go down to the fourth and fifth tier. Delay Death reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy by 0.75% with each hit taken from that enemy. Damage reduction stacks up to 6% for each enemy. Keeping her alive is important. Then we're going to go with Cycle of Revenge. Has a 50% chance of increasing the turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. Will only increase the turn meter once if the ally receives multiple critical hits from a single skill. And we're going right next door to Retribution. Has a 50% chance to counterattack when this champion loses 25% of their max HP or more from a single enemy. That's it for our defense tree. Now we're going to move over to the support tree and start with pinpoint accuracy. Of course, giving her more accuracy, you want to land those poisons. Going over here increases more accuracy when the champion has no skills on cooldown. Love that. Let's come on over here to Swarm Smiter. Increases accuracy by 4 for each enemy alive, which stacks up to 16. We're going to come down to Lore of Steel. Increases the base stat set bonuses of all artifact sets that increase base stats by 15%. The increase is multiplicative, not additive. Then we're going to come on over to Evil Eye. Decreases the target's turn meter when the champion hits them with the default skill for the first time. Decreases the turn meter by 20% with single target skills. So I have this also on Arbiter, and it's nice when you can just go and steal a little bit of turn meter from your opponent, just trying to prevent them from getting that attack. Then we have Master Hexer. Has a 30% chance to extend the duration of any debuff cast by the champion by a turn. Let's add more poison. Let's keep it on there longer. Stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, or it will not extend those ones right there. Poison is not on there. And then we go with Eagle Eye. Accuracy plus 50. That's what I'm talking about right there. Nell Blackteeth's Masteries done right here. This is, in my opinion, the way that it should be built out and the way that I'm going to be building her out once we get the faction wars absolutely completed. So that's something you're going to want to focus on as well. If you haven't done so on your account, you're going to want to make sure that your faction wars are all pushed to the 945. As you can see, I'm at 880 right now. We are getting there because this is something that I really want to unlock her, take her into the arena myself, because any of you that follow this channel know that I absolutely love the live arena. Guys, make sure you download Raid Shadow Legends with my QR code. Subscribe to the channel for Raid on a regular basis because I am loving the game. Hopefully you enjoy Nell. Build her out good. Let me know your thoughts down below.